Hello, hope you're staying safe. Now, before I rush to show you this video, I have to make a few things clear. Consider it like a really quick disclaimer. Now, I personally am a Python programmer and having little to no experience with Java. The only reason I'll be using Java right now is because in my school, in my uni, they're teaching me Java. Now, I'm not even blaming them if they should have used Python instead of Java, because right now they're teaching me concepts that are related to object-oriented programming. Now, once again, like I'm not even saying anything controversial, but when it comes to object-oriented programming, for example, back then when I was using Python, the only thing I can relate to object-oriented programming there is back then I was using in Python. I was actually creating some classes and creating some modules and basically defining functions for the most part and calling them when necessary and when I was actually needing them. So this was pretty much it for me. But recently in school, when I was using Java, I was introduced to new concepts like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation. Now, I'm not even saying once again like you can't do that kind of thing in Python, because you can. Reason why I'll be using Java is because like some of the tasks which have been provided to us people by the uni are in Java. Like we must have to do them in Java. So I'll be sticking with Java right now, and I will try my best to explain you people how this thing works, because I mean in this video I'll be explaining you stuff that is related to inheritance. So I think without further ado, I don't want to keep this video long, and let's try to dive deep into it. So okay, so I think it is finally time to begin. Now, right now I'll be doing things that are in lab week 6, because I think this is the one like where the true concept of inheritance we can finally understand it. So I will do the 5 or like the others later on, but like right now I'll be sticking with 6 1. Now, before I should show you the code and everything, I think it would be inappropriate not to read the statement or not to explain the statement here or what exactly they want us to do. So basically in exercise 9.14, in this chapter you studied an inheritance hierarchy in which class base plus commission employee. Right now I'll be explaining you this thing, just give me a second. Inherited from class commission employee. Okay, so what exactly they mean by that is, if you have the book, which I'm assuming you people have, if I can remember, like it was like Deitel and Deitel Java programming. Fine, there it is. It's 11th edition. So if I can just come over here to inheritance and 9.5, if I can recall. Yeah, there it is. So what exactly did you did back there was you created this class like commission employee, which was having all these attributes or like the instance variables, first name, last name, social security number, gross sales, commission rates, everything that was related to it. And then I think it should be appropriate to just read the full statement here. However, not all types of employees are commission employees. In this exercise, you will create a more general employee superclass that factors out the attributes and behaviors in class commission employee that are common to all employees. So what exactly they mean by that is, as you can see right now here, I'll be explaining you the concept of inheritance later on, but right now I'm explaining you what they want us to do. So you see this first name, last name, and social security number. Now every employee, no matter if it is an office employee or the way you define an employee, like in any way, so every person, it is a person after all, and then it is an employer. So we can call like it as an employer, right? And that employer might have a name, a first name, a last name, a social security number, like even age, weight, some of all these attributes, like, so this might be common, apart from like if that person is like a commission employee or any type of employee, but that person might have a name, some kind of like social security number, according to his or her respectable company, wherever, so like these are going to be common. Okay, so employee. The common attributes and behaviors for all employees are first name, last name, social security numbers, get first, all the getters 10. Like I'm saying, even if you're creating like an employee class, like a base class, so it should have following characteristics like first name, last name, social security number. That could be like for every employer, it is going to be the same or like somewhat same to every employer. and also the getter functions, and also like a portion of method to string create a new superclass employee that contains these instance variables and methods and a constructor. Okay, so I mean like when we will be doing the coding part of it, like we'll be doing that kind of thing later on. Like they want us to do a two-string function, and also they want us to make the getters and like all these attributes. Next, rewrite the class employee commission employee from section 9.4.5 as a subclass of employee. So we have to make it a subclass here. As you can see right now, this class is not extended by any class. Like if I can scroll down and show you what I mean. So the base plus commission employee, this class extends from commission employees, but this class commission employee, it right now it don't extend from any other class. So we want to extend this class by the employee class, which we'll be creating. Should contain only the instance and okay, so class commission employee should contain only the instance variables and method that are not declared in superclass employee. So if we come back here and we can see, so these things which are very common back there when it comes to employee class, social security number, last name and first name, so we are not going to include them as an instance variables. Like we'll be using a super, which I'll be explaining to you later on, like when we will be coding once again. So later on, like we'll be using that kind of thing, but when it comes to this code, like we won't be using here when we will be making the commission employee class. Okay, should contain only the instance variables that are not declared in superclass employee. Class commission employee constructor should invoke class employees constructor, and commission employees to string method should invoke employees to string method. Once you have completed these modifications, run the commission employee test in base plus commission employee test apps using these new classes to ensure that the apps still display the same result for commission employee object and base plus. Anyways, like they just want us to just every time we run this code, you know, like it just give us some kind of output, you know. So we want the same, but like right now we'll be extending the classes. Like we have to make one employee class which is going to contain all these instance variables, first name, last name, social security number, and basically, and then we will be extending commission employee from that class and further on. So employee class is going to be the grandfather, then commission employee is going to be a father, and then the base plus class is going to be the grandchild. Okay, so I think this is pretty much it, like we need to do when it comes to this statement over here. So I think without like before even showing you the code, what I can still do is like still explain you the concept of inheritance. So right now I want like some kind of apology from you people, because I'm using my tablet PC and this is quite hard to do it, because I mean like right now I'm staying in a place which is actually not quite convenient for me, you know. I think you can already judge it by the microphone which I'm using right now, so it's just not quite convenient for me. Anyways, like I will be explaining you the concept of inheritance over here. So what it want us to do is, suppose like I mean this is like your what exactly it was, like the commission employee class, and it was having a string, like some string attributes, you know, like string first name, and then it was having also the string last name, and again like it was a string, and it was like social security number, then I think it was a double gross rates, and a double for commission rates. I think it was like gross sales, not rate. I apologize. Okay, so these were like I mean this was like the parent class right over here, and over here you were having base plus commission employee or whatever, you know. It was having an attributes like let me show what exactly the attribute was. I think it was a base salary, if I can, yes, a base salary. So it was having the attribute of base salary, which was I think a double. Was it a double? Let me double check it again. Yeah, it is double. So it is base salary, and the first name, last name, social security number, all of them were actually inherited from this commission employee class, like this class was extended from this commission employee class. What exactly do you want? What we want to do right now is like we have to create a new class, employee, and instead of like using these variables over here which are present in our commission employee test, we want it over here, and then this is going to be like the base class, you know, like a grandfather, and then it should extend from this one, employee, and then further on this base plus commission employee should extend from that one, because I think it don't even contain like these same variables. Okay, anyways, like I think this is something they want us to do right now over here. And so if I just gonna give you a more general example of inheritance, suppose, I mean, if you have like animal, okay, animals or animal, an animal is not just an animal. You have species, like you have tons of species when it comes to animals. You have like mammals, and even like non-mammals, you know, like non-mammals, and then you have birds. Now even if in birds you have like types of birds, for example, some of them can fly, some of them can't fly, they can't fly. And then you have some kind of sea creatures, and in those sea creatures, like the one they live in the sea, you know, some of them are amphibians. I'm not sure if I can spell it right over here. And some of them are like purely staying in the sea, you know, sea creatures. Some of them are like purely staying there in the sea. And then you even I'm running out of space over here, but like you have, suppose, the reptiles. I'm not even sure if I'm spelling it right over here again. So you have like I mean, types of reptiles, for example, snakes or insects, whatever, you know, whatever you can refer to right now. So this animal, suppose, I mean, we have a mammal right now, a dog. Okay, a dog. So as you can probably see over here, as we are going down the hierarchy, we are defining the definition of animal, and we are more specific with what type of animal and what exactly do we mean by an animal in the first place. So when it comes to dog, a dog is an animal, of course. I use a different pen here. A dog is an animal, but then it's a mammal, and then it's a dog. Now why did we made this as a parent class and all these other class like as a child one, and then we are going down the hierarchy, you know? So basically what exactly we mean by an animal is every animal, no matter like what exactly its type, like if it's a sea creature or even if it's a bird or a mammal or a reptile, that creature might have a name, which is going to be quite common. And suppose like some other attributes which is going to be common among all animals is going to be weight and even a certain amount of height, you know. Now we can be more specific, but like we will still try to make things simple here, because I mean right now I think these might be the common attributes among all animals regarding like its type. When it comes to mammals, so what exactly is special about mammals now? Because I mean mammals, for example, they have fur, you know, like they have fur or some hair on their skin. They can like you know, they don't lay eggs. I should say like false. Okay, like I mean they don't lay eggs, and so basically not I'm not sure, like because I mean I'm not a zoologist myself, so I'm still trying to be, as far as my memory goes, like all mammals have 4 legs and they have teeth, you know, all these things, and probably a tail. Now when it comes to dog, we can even be more specific. Suppose I mean like the color of the fur, we can even do that over there, but like I think it is going to be make more sense, like just come down here to dog. That dog could be like a domestic dog, I mean like a pet or something, or a stray dog, or a wild dog, all these kind of thing, or a hound, something like that. So I mean, as we go down, we are more specific, like we are making more and more variables as we're going down. But when we were up, we see one thing common, because I mean, even if we take a sea creature like a shark, like a great white shark, that name, you know it should be common, like that shark name, and shark might have a weight and also like have some kind of certain amount of height. So this is going to be quite common. But what we do instead is like, shark, instead of like a mammal, it's a sea creature, and then it's a purely sea creature, because I mean, like, see, if you could talk about shark, they are not amphibians. They can't actually just walk on land and something. So yeah, they're purely sea creatures. So as we are going down, we are trying to be more and more specific. So I mean, this is like the beauty of inheritance. You can create a base class which have some following instance variables, which is going to be quite common among all the other things you are going to do. For example, as you go down, you will be more and more specific, but like some things which is going to be common among all animals or among everything is going to be staying there. As you can see here in the case of employee class, these names, now I mean, suppose, I mean, we are making a new employer, for example, a new class, employee class, suppose office employer. So these things are going to be quite common, like we don't have to assign them once again, like we can just extend it from this base class. So anyways, I think this was like this is all it, like when it comes to inheritance, for now at least. When it comes to code, like I think this would be enough for us people to solve the code. So I think without further ado, let me show you the code. So just give me a second. I think I should still keep it running. Now, I won't be going into detail because I think everything back there is already available in your book. I'm just like tweaking these things, what exactly you want going to do or what they want us to do. But I mean, if you understand the concept, it won't be too hard. Because what you are going to do is like, instead of if I can show you the transfer here. Mm, Here, yeah. So these things like first name, last name, social security number, like everything, we made these instance variables over here. And then we made a constructor, because I mean, a constructor is really going to be, it is going to be really important, because like when next we are going to call, when we are going to extend this class, or we will be using super, and we need to extend the like it was saying, we need to invoke the constructor and the toString method. And the reason how we are going to assign the variables is going to be like, we are going to use a constructor here, and we also made some setters and getters over here. Now the toString method, we also like made one, but the thing is, now the commission employee class, as you can see, so what it does now, this class is extended, like we extend this class from the employee class, and in the constructor employee constructor, what we did is we pass these. Right now I think this is like not too generic, but like this super class, as you can see over here, first name, last name, and social security number, we are passing it to the employee class using a super constructor over here. And then we are assigning the gross sales and commission rate. So like whenever we are going to make a test class out of it, like we are going to be like assigning those values. But like these three of them, like the first name, last name, and social security numbers, they are going to be assigned via the super, when we will call this super, and we will assign it over here. On the other hand, like we also made the setters and givers, and I think if you watch the video the professor sent to you people, or even if you follow the book, you know what exactly they mean by all these things. I mean, these are just kind of like basic, some kind of basic settings over here that could help you, or that could like literally solve some problems there, as they may cause later on, like if you assign some random value which you shouldn't be doing. So it is something which you can get by reading like that book or just watching the video instead. Now the thing important over here is like this it also have this toString method, and what it does is it overrides the one present it, like we have to invoke the one present in employee class. So as you can see over here, so what we do is we just call this toString and it just give us like all this kind of string, you know, like, because I mean this is a string after all this thing is a string. It will give us all that, and then we need the gross sales and commission rates, which is we will get through via like these kind of functions. But toString is going to be overridden from here. And one more thing, when it comes to the base employee class, is we still do the same thing, but instead of extending it from the, because I mean a base commission employer is going to be a commission employer, not like an employer. I mean there are going to be a few things common, like still it is a child of the commission employer first, then the employer. So you can see we still pass the first name, last name, social security number, gross sales, and commission rates, you know, like all these values. Back then we were only passing 3 of them because this employer class only needed 3, but now we are passing 5 because I mean this class is extended from that one, and this constructor need almost 5 parameters, you know, instead of like 3. So that's why we are calling it super, and we are passing 5 values instead of only 3. Then there is this like a base salary, which we again just created. Like in the setter we assign some kind of like a method, or some kind of like the way which we are going to use it, or where I'm gonna say, like, suppose I mean if someone is going to add negative value, it just should say it should be greater than or equal to 0. I mean, like, you can, once again, if you are reading you're following the text here in the notebook, so you will be, you know what I mean. And then like there is one override function which override the earning. And by the way, I forgot to explain, like we also made one in here which actually just shows us the earning, but it is not important right now because I mean they haven't asked us people to do this kind of thing in the statement, so it is not important right now. The only thing that is important is this override function. It's going to like call this base, you know, it is going to again call this toString function, but this time it could invoke the toString present over here, because I mean once again this is like the base class over here, and then we will also get the base salary. So I think this is pretty much it, because I mean back here if I can show you the like the original text, so you were having this was actually extend. And yeah, by the way, one more thing, even though if you don't extend any time, like if suppose I mean this employee class, like it is not extended by anything, but if by default, like it doesn't matter if we do this kind of thing or not, because Java is going to do this kind of thing automatically. It extends from an object whenever we don't do this kind of thing. But when we are trying to be explicit, like when we explain what class we are going to extend from, and yeah, by the way, this should be in the same directory after all, you know, like a same package or something. So yeah, so it could be extended, and it won't be giving you any error, like if it didn't find that class or that file, so it won't be controversial once you are running code or compiling it. So this is pretty much it, like you have to be explicit. Now I think I can show you the test class of these functions, because they want us both for the employee class and also one for the base class over here. Yeah, so in the base class you can see I have provided like all these 5 parameters, you know, like I mean it wanted 5 of them. Like it doesn't mean like if we are calling a super and it's going to pass 3 of them to that, but we still need to assign 5 values. With the first name, like the Ash Badger, second name, and the social security number is going to be passed here to this employer, right? And it's going to like it will be stored here in toString, and then it will be invoked by that thing. And then this is like the other instance variables we just passed. And then in the employers we did the same thing, like we still made a constructor that can hold 6 values now, with the 5 of them like we are going to pass it to the to the commission employee class, you know. And then furthermore, in those 5 of them, 3 are going to be sent to employer. Now I know it sounds confusing, but this is how inheritance works. So just like back there in the examples of the animal, and name, weight, and height, it is going to be common among all animals no matter what, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, I think I have enough explained you the code, so I think it would be appropriate to just show you how this thing works now. Now once again, they are already compiled, but I'm just doing just in case. So yeah, So right now we are calling the commission employer test, so it just shows the ash badger and the social security number and the gross rates and commission rates. So if we can come back here and we can see, so yeah, gross sales and everything. No, so it's just showing us everything, but the first name, last name and social security numbers, it has been invoked for here from this employee class, and it is using this string over here. Now if I can compile the base employee, I can show you. Now once we call the base plus a commission employer test plus, so it is still invoking like the first, you can see like the first parameters, you know, the first 4 parameters, or shall I say 5, because as ash badger, like right now it's one name, but we just passed it like first name and last name and something. So I mean, so the first 5 of them, they are being passed here to the commission employee class, and then furthermore, if I can show you, like, you know, 5 of them are being passed to the commission employee class, and then furthermore those 3 of them are passed to the employee class. So this is how it works. Basically, I mean, I think this is all you need to do here in this code. I'm not sure like if I'm explaining everything that is related to inheritance over here, but this is everything you need to do here in this code. Now I think I'll be explaining you the next one. Okay, so alright, so last night actually I was recording this video, especially the exercise 9.15, but I figured out like it was too midnight for me, and then I made a lot of mistakes back there, especially like there was something like earning here, like a method called earning in this class. So I have to record this video from the start again, and right now I'm just doing this kind of thing in the morning, so my voice might be chunky right now, but I think without further ado I can still just continue where we left. So exercise 9.15. So before I just show you the code, I can read the statement. Other types of employees might include a salaried employee who get paid a fixed weekly salary, like a wage or something, price workers who get paid by a number of pieces they produce, or hourly employees who get paid an hourly wage with time and a half, 1.5 times the hourly wage. Yeah, this was something which messed me up, but right now recently I figured it out, so it won't be a problem anymore. However, the things they right now up to this point, they're just kind of explaining us things about employees, like there are like varieties of employees, like the way they get paid. So some of them, like they create a product, like they create a piece or something, suppose like a carpenters, you know, like they create some kind of object, you demand you want it from them, like so they create that object and then they are paid for their respectable duties. On the other hand, suppose, I mean, if you are having some kind of a labor or something, now that person is going to be paid for an hourly wage, weekly wage, like like the hours he worked in a day or something like that. So I mean, there are like varieties of methods you can play an employee. So this is something we need to put into account for now. Now here, for hours worked or 40 hours, create a class employee, hourly employee that inherits from class employee. Exercise 9.14. And one more thing, if you have understood the concept back there in 9.14, this is going to be cake here. Like this 9.15 is going to be really easy if you understood back there what was going on in 9.14. And has in instance variables hours and a double that represent the hours work, instance variable wage, a double that represent the wage per hour. Okay, so I mean, like a constructor, some getters and setters, and just 2 new instance variables that are going to be, both are going to be double, and one of them is going to be hours, like the hours that person worked, and the other one is going to be wage, like how much he earned per hour. So something like that. And then there's this also one more method called employee earning, which is going to give us the earning on the basis of hours. So I'll be explaining the Dalton thing in a moment, but let me read it full. An earning method to calculate hourly employees earning based on the hours work, and a toString method that could invoke, or like the same thing, you know, like that could still take the name, first name, last name, and the social security number from the employer. And one more thing, like in the set wage, we have to set it non-negative. Like suppose, I mean, in the constructor, or every time you're passing it through a setter, like the wage, it can't be, we can't assign it a negative number. So there are going to be some conditions there. And the other one is set hours. So there we are also going to put a condition there, which is going to be all the hours there are going to be in a week, like not a month or something. So 0 to 168, these might be like the total number of hours in a week. So we'll be like we'll be using these kind of conditions there. Okay, and the rest is not important, like you need to make a test class and that's about it. So I think without further ado, let me show you the code here. So basically I think it's the same. So you have this very same employee class, the one we did for the 9.14. So there's going to be nothing new here. So I think it is going to be appropriate just to jump here to hourly employee class. So here you can see two new instance variables, double both of them, one of them hours and the other one wage, and then a constructor that can still call the super and pass three of the parameters to the super class, to the employee, with the very first being the first name, last name, and social security number. The other hours and wage. So I could assign like, so I send them to setters where we have this condition here, like it is going to, if the condition does not satisfy, then it is going to give like an illegal argument exception, like in kind of an error that hours about the hours, and also like one for the set wage, it should be greater than 0, like not a negative number. I think it makes sense to even make it 0, but like I don't think so equal to will make any sense here, because I mean no one is going to get 0 amount of money if he or she worked for about like certain hours. So I think it doesn't make sense, so I just kept it like below 0 and not even 0. So this is going to be making sense over here. And the other thing is like the earning method, which is going to be really important. So suppose, I mean, like that thing it was saying back there 1.5 times the hour or something like that, you know, that person works. So it was actually something, some kind of like a bonus. So suppose, I mean, if you're working for about 40 hours, you know, and if the hours are less than or equal to 40 hours, then there might be no bonus for you. Like you will be earning hours multiplied by wage, which is actually, this is what I did back there. Like this was vanilla, but recently I figured out they also want that kind of bonus thing, you know, like if suppose you're working overtime like more than 40 hours, so then you got 1.5 times the bonus is something. So this is something you can even find back there in your books, so it won't be that difficult to find. So you need this kind of thing over here. Then again, we override the toString which is already present in employee, you know, and it give us all these values. So, and one more thing, if you talk about the employee test class, so you have all these things here. I mean the first name, last name, social security number, hours that person worked for, and then like the amount of salary he earned. So if I can run the code here, keep it in Russian. You can see, you know, like as you can see over here, excuse my microphone. So now if I change it to like suppose what would you say, like a negative number. Okay, try to compile the code again. You can see like which should be not should be a non-negative number, so it just give you that kind of value, that kind of error or exception. And if I say like suppose 170 hours, which is actually more than 1 week now, so you can see like hours should be greater than 0 and less than or equal to 168, so it is also giving me an exception. If I do something like 40 hours something, so then there is going to be no bonus for me now. As you can see, 40 multiplied by 500 is going to be 20,000, so there is no bonus. It is like it is straightforward, so there is no bonus for me right now. So I think this is pretty much it. Like when it comes to the 9.14 one, I made a mistake by, I think here, which I was actually paying attention to in this earning method, so I have to record the whole video again just because of this line of code. But I think this is pretty much it. Like if you followed all these things, your 9.14 and 9.15 is going to be done. And if you understood 9.14, 9.15 is going to be cake. Once again, I'm saying that, and everything is going to be available in your book. So I think the page numbers start from like the chapter 9 and chapter 10, like inheritance and polymorphism. So you will definitely find it out. I think the page number was 420 or something, so you will definitely found resources related to it. So thanks for watching.